Welcome back. If you're still with me, this is episode 6. Here I'm going to break down the weekly pages, and actually I'm going to go to week 2, the week of August 10th. I've been struggling trying to figure out what's the best way to share all of this information. I kind of feel that this one's a little bit better than what I had done before. I'll show you the new version, and I'll go back to week 1 and show you what I had come up with the first place. Either way, I'll be honest, there's quite a bit of information here that I'm sure eventually students will be more accustomed to and be able to follow through. So week 2, and I'm on student view, so it's not going to work. All right, so we're going to leave student view. Here we go. So at the top, the objectives for the week, they're the same objectives that we would have seen on the agenda for August 10th through the 14th. Mentioning up here, week 2, going to wrap up geography and start colonization. And then I'm going straight into the weekly lesson. So I've made this as a chart. First off, the first column is going to be about the days of the week. The middle one will be what cohort A is doing for each day, and then what cohort B is going to be doing. So I'll try to go one at a time so we don't get too overwhelmed. So we'll see here Monday, in person. This correctly says that their map is going to be due Wednesday. The calendar that you saw in a previous video was not updated just yet. A hyperlink to that assignment if they need to work on it. Taking our geography quiz. This should be a hyperlink to that. That's my mistake, which will be fixed before class. And then our presentation of the world before 1492. I'm going to have a warm-up question for them to take care of here and instructions on how to get started by opening Pear Deck and a hyperlink to their student notes. Again, from a previous episode talking about the adjustment I'm going to make for cohort B, this is just outlining for them what they need to do. So there's a link to the map activity to finish, the reading a map activity to finish, and a choice of one of 2 assignments to complete, the climate ed puzzle, and then the climate zones worksheet to use to help finish that assignment based off the ed puzzle. So if they're done with those assignments, I've got a list of activities that they can do afterwards. Yes, my son is here. Yes, they can hear you. My youngest son is asking for something at the moment here. So you see some hyperlinks for them of what they can go and take care of if they're done with those assignments from last week. Some of these are what they had already been asked to do beforehand. These 2 activities down below. I linked the geography challenge that I talked about in the previous episode, not realizing that it's not going to work for them. I also gave them a hyperlink to CNN 10, some 10-minute quick news of current events if you weren't aware of what that's about. So that's Monday for both groups. Scroll down to Tuesday. Now, this is where we start to see the snake. What was listed on Monday for cohort A is what cohort B is going to do. Cohort A will be at home completing this worksheet, and this activity is not finished yet, and it'll be hyperlinked for them, and then a chance to watch CNN 10. Tuesday, what cohort A did, cohort B is going to do. This is cohort A's activity in class. We're saying, hey, this is now due today, Wednesday, our simulation. Then we'll talk about information from that, and I'll introduce the Explorer project. So what cohort A did Wednesday, cohort B will do Thursday. Cohort A will be at home. They'll be working on their Explorer project, whichever one they chose. And again, a link to CNN 10 for them to watch and see what's going on in the world around them. So what cohort A does Thursday, cohort B will do on Friday, and then cohort A on Friday, they'll have their quiz over colonization, and then I have an assignment over Chapter 3 vocabulary, an intro worksheet with the online textbook, and watching CNN 10. So then on week 3, cohort B will do the exact same activity when they're at home. So they'll have their 2 at-home days, these are the 2 at-home days. So there you'll see that snaking now working on the following Monday for Cohort B. And then finally, listed over here on Friday, I'm going to do a discussion board. I tried a Google Meet last week, but then direction came out Thursday of some changes about that, where we need to try to be in communication open to each class. So making it a bit easier for everybody and myself, I'm going to do a discussion board for students to post questions and answers. I'll respond as I see them come through. Brainbuster Friday. This is an extra credit activity that they can choose to answer. If they get it right, they'll get an extra credit. If not, then nothing's going to happen. And below all this, check for understanding. What am I going to do for checking what they've learned? And then upcoming, what is going to happen later on this week or next week. So when the exploration quiz is going to happen, when is the colonization CFA going to happen? Next week, the projects will also be listed on here because I'll give them a little bit of time to work on those projects. And then links back to the overview or the course overview. Finally. Okay, so here's week 1. We had just finished. This was my original plan. Same thing at the top, objectives. And then we got the weekly lesson where I just listed it from top down to bottom. And I kind of felt, no, this just doesn't look right. It's not, in my mind, this wasn't very clear. I mean, normally what I do on a page is, yes, 1, 2, and so on and so forth. But going back and forth, am I cohort A or B? Am I B or A? I didn't like that, so I'm going with the table system that I had just shown you a moment ago for week 2. I feel that flow is a lot easier to follow than what this was. So again, check for understanding and upcoming as well. So that's the overview page. I'm sorry, that's the weekly overview page. For the most part, that's going to be consistent until we ever go back to in-person or if we have to go to all e-learning. Then it'll be more of a daily page. And if that happens, I will create videos to help outline that. So for the time being, this is the final episode. Unless I think of something else I want to share with everybody, I'll be back and add some more. So until then, thank you, and I hope you enjoyed.